Hi boys and girls, it's Shane and I've got an emergency at my Vampire Den Airbnb. So as the cleaner was here this morning, we discovered, in addition to the hot tub that I'm going to show you at the end of this video, our tile has broken in the kitchen. It had a small crack before, but it got a lot worse. These guests were very, very messy and very, very problematic, as you'll see when I show you the hot tub here in just a little bit. But I've got to remove all this tile and replace it. And we have guests that arrive in 3.5 hours. When we're under a time constraint, it's real easy to get in a panic and start trying to work really fast, become problematic and make mistakes. It's important that we keep our head and stay calm. It's also important we stay safe even though we're in a hurry. So I've got my steel toe flip-flops on. I've got my color coordinated to my hoodie scrunchie. It's a thing a lot of people overlook, is if you don't color coordinate your scrunchie to your shirt, you're doing it wrong, guys. So to make the problem better, sometimes we have to make it a little bit worse. I think sometimes people struggle with the commitment to actually fix something. That first step of making it worse to make it better, I think, is the scariest step for someone. What the hell happened to this water? It was perfectly clear yesterday before our vampire guests came out and hung out. And now it's all like murky. I don't know that you can tell, but it's pink or red, like they just poured a bunch of Hawaiian punch in it. Anybody know a quick way to take care of this? I've elected to drain the hot tub because I don't know what that is. So water's gonna go out, we'll put new water in. So we got the hot tub nice and drained. Now it's just a matter of filling up the hot tub. That'll take a while. Guests are gonna be walking on this in 3 hours. What am I thinking? So we're gonna get a shop vac and get all that sucked up and thrown away. I like to use a box in order to throw all the tile scraps in. When you put them in a bag, the sharp corners will just kind of pierce through the bag. Will also pierce through your skin if you're not careful, so be careful. I got one little cut there.
This is oddly satisfying, even when you're in a hurry.
So I can grout this in 2 hours. I've got 3 hours before the guests arrive. I gotta hurry. Let's just add an appropriate amount of water. So I used a trick to speed this up. I mixed it with hot water instead of cold water. And I tried to mix it kind of thick, so we'll just finish it out a little bit by hand like this. And we're gonna spread it around with our trowel in just a bit. But that will make it cure probably in about an hour, being hot water instead of cold. A full-size trowel isn't really needed for this, so I'm just gonna use one of these little card ones. Though I think I need to add just a little bit more water. This is just a little dry. People like to make this seem like it's really complex, but it's almost like just doing a little art project when you were a kid in kindergarten. The glue is just mortar instead of paste. And we get it in the right spot. We push it down, nice and solid. And now we just keep going. Now I'm going to use the time that this is curing to clean up some of the mess and get ready for grouting. So everything goes in this box that I don't need. Before grouting, I want to make sure I get as much of this mortar up out of the holes as possible. So I'm just going to use the hook end of a painter's helper. Just kind of come down each one of these gaps and make plenty of room for the grout to fit. Just like that. All right, we've got the hot tub cleaned out and ready to go for the guests. Let's get the tile done. We're using the rapid set mortar mix, or grout mix. I'm going to use very, very hot water, and I'm just mixing this in a little cup because we're not going to need a whole lot. But the hot water will make the chemical reaction go much, much faster. So we got a lot of steam, the water's hot, we're going to add some hot water in it, and I'm just going to stir it with a couple plastic knives in this cup, and I think that will be sufficient. Normally a grout float would be appropriate, but I couldn't find mine in a hurry, and a gloved finger will work for this little bit. This is not intended to be a perfect job. This is a fast job, and it's going to be better than when we started. Some people make perfect their goal every time they're doing something. They want it to be perfect. That's a silly goal. I always tell you, don't make perfect your goal. If you make perfect your goal, you're never going to succeed. you'll always be a failure. You'll always feel unsatisfied with what you're doing. Instead, our goal should be improvement. Is it better than when we started? And this is already better than when I started. So I can be happy that way, and I can feel satisfied with what I'm doing. People I know that have perfect as a goal are some of the most unhappy people. And strangely enough, they're also the people that tend to tell me about how I should do things all the time. Oh, you're not doing it the right way. You're not doing it this way. You'd be so unhappy all the time. And the way they're handling that is to try to make me as unhappy as they are, I promise. It's weird, isn't it? But that's okay. They can do what they'd like to do. If they want to be striving for perfection every day and never achieving it, that's okay. They can do that. But they should also be okay with me making something better than when I started and feeling good about it, and then going roller skating tonight. You know what? That's what I'm going to do. After I finish this, I'm going to go roller skate with my wife. It's adult skate night tonight. I'll put on my skates, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And while I wipe this down, I'm going to keep using hot water in my rag and in my sponge because I want to keep the temperature up on this surface as much as possible. I also increased the temperature in here while I was working because the chemical reaction that makes all this happen happens faster when it's warm. Now we'll use the sponge and some hot water and just go over everything nice and gentle. What do you think? I don't think they'll even know these were ever broken.